All right, let's go ahead and hop straight into it. So today I actually only took the last trade. Had a bit of a family emergency, so I wasn't even going to trade today, but we ended up getting home around like 9:15, 9:30ish. So I just decided, hey, let me just sit on the charts from 9 to 11, see if anything happens. And one move did present itself. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just go ahead and back test it from the very beginning as if I was here the whole time. I'll let you know which trade I would have took, and then I'll let you know the trade that I actually took toward the end of the session that presented itself. So let's go ahead and just go. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So from the 3 hour, as we know, since last month, around the 7th, price is still within the same 3 hour range. So we can kind of skip past that. That's something that we know and understand. So yesterday, we seen that this 1 hour low was broken over here, creating a low right here. Within our session yesterday, price pulled back, pushed through, and it was low probability because it only broke this one time. It never pushed past it. So it's low probability 1 hour structure. So price is still between this range. So now we are just looking to trade this now. So first we want to catch it up, of course. So right before our session, and we see that price impulse to the downside is pushing up to the upside. So we want to kind of focus on this push to the upside, not all the way down here so much, but just focus on the structure that's going on right within this area on the 10 minutes. So let's see what we go in and see. All right. So taking a look, the first thing I notice is, okay, this looks like clean structure, but we got to start on the uptrending push to make sure everything is legit. So let's look for the last high. The last high was right here. And this was the low of that. And what happened? Price pulled back, pushed up, pulled back, and then shot up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then stopped here, but it never broke here. So all of this is internal structure for the 10-minute, and this is a high probabilities area. So what we want to do, go ahead and mark this as a 10-minute, and we'll mark our high probability area, which is right here. And we understand that this is already more than 50%. Like, I don't need to draw the fib to show that it's more than 50%, but I'm going to do it anyway for the video. Way past 50%. So this is a really, really good zone. What we see about the zone, though, is that price has already pulled back, got very, very, very close to it, and started pushing up. So we had our impulse on the 10-minute, retrace on the 10-minute, and it looked like price may be looking to continuate. We're not sure, but we really want to focus on this area on the 5-minute. So let's see what's going on within that area on the 5-minute. This area right here. All right. So we don't want to go too far. We'll start right here. We have a low here. 5-minute low. Price pulled back to here. Price pulled back. Continued pushing to the downside. Then what happened? Price came through. Broke structure here. Kept pushing. Kept pushing. So now we have high probability 5-minute structure right here. So now we just want to see where this high ends. Where does it solidify? Boom. So this high ends right about here. And we got high probability zone right here. Perfect. We can draw our 50% mark on just to see what it looks like. Boom, close, but we'll pull it back just a tad bit, just to get it right there within that 50% clean. And plus, I like it anyway, pulling it right back to the body over the wick. So this is a very good zone. So let's see what happens from here, from this point. We don't need to go to the 2-minute because, well, we can check the 2-minute just to make sure. Clearly, the 2-minute and 5-minute structures don't match, so we don't need it. But so we can manage everything from the 5-minute. So let's just see what happens. So this is still here as an open zone, but we see prices now broken this 5-minute high. Let's see if it continuates. It does continuate, so that makes this also a high probability 5-minute zone. Right? So nothing's presented itself so far. We're just following structure. Let's see where price reverses. Boom, price starts its retrace at the top of here. We need to check it, make sure it's at least 50%. It is at least 50%. So we're good with this zone. Let's see what happens. We get a test. We get another test. Get another test. Another test. Boom. Then price broke. So price broke here. Let's see if we get a push past it though. It almost wicked here. Didn't get there just yet. Price did not make its way past it. So that then turns from this high to this new low, which is right at our zone, but not a touch of our zone. And if you guys watch yesterday's video, you know that yesterday I broke my rules about my zone. So today, I learned from that lesson, and I don't care how close to my zone it gets, I am not entering without proper confirmation. So now that this 5-minute is low probability, even though it's near the zone, I can now go to the 2-minute. And we see we got an impulse. So let's just see what's going on the 2-minute here. So on the 2-minute, what I see is we clearly have a low here that pulled back. It's low probability on the 2-minute, but this is the 2-minute high. So this 2-minute high, the low is the same as the 5-minute. And we just got a break. So let's see if price keeps breaking. Boom. So it broke. It didn't keep breaking. We got to see if this next candle breaks above or not to see if this is going to make a high probability zone. Indeed it does. So what we want to go ahead and do, draw our 2-minute zone. And we could pull this high up to here. Well, first we got to see where the high actually stops. Okay, so the high actually starts the retracement there. So all we want to do is come from here, pull back, and yeah, now we want to make it about 50%, so we could pull it right to the top of this body. Yes, that's a little more than 50%, but I always like I typically don't like pulling it just straight to the 50% unless price beforehand was very choppy. This price ain't choppy. This price is clean. It cleanly pulled, cleanly pushed, cleanly pulled back, cleanly pushed, cleanly broke structure. So I just like finding somewhere clean to draw my zone. Now, if it's choppy, I'm pulling it straight to 50% because who wants to sort through all that mess? But when it's clean like this, I like finding me a nice little spot to pull back unless price is already in the 50% and it doesn't need me to modify it at all. So we are right here. So let's see if we get a test of our zone. Price pull back. We got a zone test. Do we get a confirmation candle? Ooh, we get a nice little confirmation. Let's see if we get entry. So a little bit above. We want to pull it underneath, giving it some nice room. That is 7.5, which you know that means our stop loss is really 8.5. Multiply that by 2, that's 17, 17.5. Again, I know my math with how I calculate this stuff is weird, but it works perfectly for calculating spread and making sure my stop loss is accurate to where I'm trying to get in from here to my trading platform, which I use TradeLocker. So let's go ahead and see if we get entered into this trade on the next candle. Boom. No entry. So let's see if we get another confirmation candle. Yep, we do. Same thing. Push up some. We want to go below. So give it a little extra room. 6 pips this time. So that's 14.5 is the area we're looking for if we get entered. Alright, so let's see if we get entered in this one. Perfecto. So we do get entered into this one. Because we entered, we want to go ahead and mark off our 75% level. So all we do is take that 14.5 times 0.75, which is 10.87. So we'll go down to about 10.9. And at 10.9, we just draw on our partial level. Or we call it winner's lane, partial level, whatever works. But we understand that 75% level is the level where once price crosses and breaks it, we are guaranteed a winner. All right. So let's see what happened after that. Price pushed down some, retested in, pushed down. It looked like a stop out, but you got to remember my stop loss is actually a pip lower than what it shows here. So it's 6 here, but in my actual trading platform, it's at 7. So let's pull it down to 7. Perfect. So while it looked like on here I would have got stopped out, because my stop loss is actually a 7, I wouldn't have got stopped out. It's just really, really close. So for the rest of the trade, I'm gonna just leave it at 7 so it reflects according to how it looks on my trading platform. Now this is not the trade that I took. This trade actually happened before I got home and was able to come to the market. So this is a trade that I would have taken live. Um, this would have been my first trade of the day. So today I did only take one trade. My one trade was a winner. It was not this one, but this would have been my very first trade had I showed up on time and didn't have stuff going on earlier today. So let's see what happens from this point. Boom. Okay, prices started pushing. Sharp push to the downside. Again, it's not really anywhere for me to manage it because it hasn't broken this high. So, and if I go to the 1 minute structure, for the most part, typically mirrors 10 minute. The 1 minute is actually downtrending from here to here, and it hasn't broke it. If we put the low right here, it hasn't broke that low or anything. So really, it's one of those trades where either I just have to hold through or I'm gonna take a full loss. It's not really any other way about it. So let's go. Just trying to see what is it gonna do. Okay, price is starting to get some upside momentum. And this is around the time I came to the market. But um, so what we see, yeah, we would have had to hold through it. Price definitely was a little choppy, but what did it come and do? Got near this high, played around it. So what do we get? Price actually broke this 2 minute. It didn't make any high probability structure, so we would have just pulled that there, and from here it pulled back to here. So this is the low and this is the high of the 2 minute. Price broke straight through it, going straight to TP. So had I made it to the market on time today, this would have been my first trade, and my first trade would have been a winner. But again, I had family emergency, so again, I wasn't even supposed to trade, or I didn't plan on trading today, but because I got home earlier than expected, I decided to just go ahead and see what came up. So that would have been the first one. So we get rid of this. Now we just pretty much we see that it broke the 2 minute, the 5 minute, and the 10 minute. So what we want to do is get rid of the 2 minute first. Now again, this zone was only tested once, so we could pull it back to a point that we like, just in case the market makes it back down to that point, because I will use that zone again if it does it within this session. So it tested here, so again, I'm only getting in if it tests deeper. So I'm just looking for a good area. I do see there's a nice gap between here and here, so I'm gonna just pull it down to this gap. If price can make it back to this gap and give me a confirmation, I will utilize that zone again. So now let's just see what happens. So we see on 5 minute, we can get rid of that partial zone. So we see on the 5 minute, the price actually broke. Let's see if it keep pushing, making a high probability 5 minute zone. Not sure yet, just because it created a new high. Let's go to the next one. It definitely is a high probability zone. So what we want to do, we can go ahead, we could just move this up here. Yes, it hasn't solidified yet, but we do know that at least this zone is of high probability. price was there. Boom, broke, kept pushing. So let's see where the 5 minute stops. Kept going. Still wicked higher, so we're gonna give it one more candle just to see. Okay, perfect. So that is where it stopped. Now what we can also do is go and check the 10 minute too, make sure it aligns. So the 10 minute, boom, the 10 minute pullback is all the way down to here. So what we could do is clean some of this up. So I'm gonna get rid of the 2 minute, I'm gonna get rid of the 5 minute, just because they both fall within what is about to be our 10 minute zone. So that doesn't matter. Now we're about to have a 10 minute zone because it broke here, closed, and then gave a second candle push. So it's high probability. So now what we see is the 5 minute and 10 minute are the exact same high. 10 minute zone from here down to this low. Only thing I need to check is, does this 10 minute fall within 50%? It doesn't, so we want to refine it. Now, it's a lot of mess going on here, but we can pull it back, try to find something nice. I actually like this zone right here. So the 10 minute, high probability, and the 5 minute falls right within it. Now, the one thing we didn't do is check the 5 minute to make sure it was 50, but we can look at it and kind of tell that it is. So we check the 5 minute. 5 minute is right at 50, and we don't have to adjust it at all because this was the true 5 minute. So price can either pull to the 5 minute, give us a confirmation on the 5 minute and push out, or it can break the 5 minute, and now we're waiting for 10 minute confirmation to enter. So this is actually the one that I was able to take. So we'll just fast forward. Let's see what happens. Typically during my session, when price breaks like the 1 hour and 4 hour, I don't really care too much about it unless it's near the beginning of my session, because the truth is, like, it's already 9:40. I'm gonna be done at 11. So it breaking my 1 hour doesn't really mean too much to me today, but it means more to me tomorrow when I come to the market and I'm remarking up the 1 hour highs and lows. So that's why I just kind of leave the 1 hour there. So let's see. Well, price pull back. Does it give us a confirmation? Yes, it does. So price gives us this bullish confirmation. We go ahead, look to enter. We want to play it safe. So we want to keep our stop loss right around there. So we do about 15.5. We want our stop loss under the structure, not just the candle, since the candle printed away from the zone. But this structure is what touched the zone and gives us the opportunity to enter. So that just protects us the most. So 15.5, 16.5, that's 33.5. So let's see if we get entered. Boom, immediately entered. Let's go ahead and get our 75% level. So 33.5 times 0.75, that's 25.1. 25.1. So come here, draw our green bean, so our partial, and then go back to the 33.5. Right? And so first thing we're going to do is check the 2 minute. Is there any way to manage it? No, not really. The 2 minute is actually pretty messy. So we see we got a pullback here. Then this was the low. Price never broke the high, but then it pushed straight down. So really, the 2 minute is just downtrending. So, and there's no like internal structure here to manage it. We go to the 1 minute. The 1 minute might be messier than 2 minute. So we just gonna kind of look at it between the 2 minute and the 5 minute and see if we get a nice push that at least creates some type of internal structure where we can manage our trade. So let's get a couple candles. Boom, price pushes. Boom, price pushes again. So now we can go to the 2 minute. Is there anywhere I want to draw a zone? I will draw one right here. Now technically, so let me go through it. So technically the low is right here, but it created it had an internal rejection. So it created a low here, pulled back, tried to push down again, and found rejection off the zone a second time and started pushing to the upside. So I don't mind using this as a zone It protects me. It gives me an opportunity for an early exit in the event that price does shoot down. So now I'm going to stay on the 2 minute here because price is now in my partial area, which it wick past it, but remember I gotta wait for the close past it before I start getting more particular about how I'm going to close and look to exit this trade. So let's just keep going, see what happens. Do we get a close inside? Do get a close inside. Um, and this is the 2 minute high that I am utilizing. 2 minute. Let's see what the next candle does. Perfect. So it's close enough to it to where I'm saying it closed below it a little bit, but technically a new structure low is right here. It's right near the high. I'm okay giving it one more candle just to see if it pushes any further. If it pushes any lower or gets lower than this area right here, I'm immediately closing. What happened? Price breaks the high, creating new 2 minute structure. So what I want to do is go ahead and pull this up to make this zone right, and then see if the 2 minute keeps pushing, making this high probability or not. So let's see. Boom. Very next candle, push it straight through, high probability, and take the what would have been the second win, but was only my first win because again I got to the market late today. Um, but yeah, played out perfectly. This is one of those times where I could have potentially looked to hold it longer, but because I came to the market late and I knew I was probably only going to take one trade today, I just was going to see, hey, if I can get a win, I want to take my win and leave, especially with everything that happened yesterday. So showed up, got our win, and yeah. So that's going to be it for today. Let's see where the price is now, though. See, so we would have looked to hold. If we would have been greedy, we would have looked to hold, and price would have broke through our zone anyway. So we would have just exited for a small loss. But luckily, I wasn't being greedy. Once price broke my TP, I took my win and I got out of there. So, hey, again, this is an example. Learn from your lessons, come back, put those things into action the next day, and see what happens. So, we're able to finish off the day with one win. We'll show back up tomorrow and see what happens then. All right.